so good. I want it. I just want it. This is why I think you guys are gonna love this style. I honestly think that you guys are gonna freak because I know so many of you love the French country modern style. This is just a little bit more modern and Well, hello. Welcome back to the House of Valentina. I'm Valentina, and today I am hanging out on my sofa. I've been chilling out. I have my phone out. I've been on Pinterest. I think I've really realized that the style that I cannot get away from, and I've been kind of dancing around it for years. And the style that I think it happens to be my style, but I do think that it's literally about to explode in the next year and over the next decade at least. Like, this is not going away. This is not really a trend, but the truth is that this is really a life. And that is the modern manor. I'm gonna show you a whole bunch of pictures that I have found on Pinterest. I'm gonna talk to you about the color palette and what you're gonna be looking for. And I'm even going to share with you some books and some other resources that are going to help you nail this style no matter where you live in the world. But there's something to be said about a large home sitting on a really large piece of land, and it's not a farmhouse. It's not a farmhouse. It's not rustic luxury. It's something in and of itself, and modern manor is literally going to be a massive movement. That's a good word. It is a movement. So don't forget to hit subscribe if you haven't already. I'm about to jump into the video already. I'm like, let's jump in. Okay, I can't wait to share all this with you. Make sure you hit subscribe so that you don't lose us in the internet. And also give the video a thumbs up if you are like me and you feel like this is probably it. Like, this is going to be like the it thing for you. Let me know, and let's jump into today's video. Okay, so what is the modern manor? What are we even talking about? Okay, we are talking about a large home sitting on a large piece of land, right? Okay, we're gonna talk about the ideal of what this style is, and I'm gonna talk to you about what to do if you don't have these things, so don't panic. I don't live on a big piece of land. I have about 1/4 of an acre. Like, I can almost reach out of my window and touch my neighbor's house sitting right there, okay? I don't have a big piece of land. Do not panic. I'm going to explain to you how you can use this in your own home, no matter what size home you have, no matter how much land you have. You may not even have land. You might be in a condo. Okay, you're gonna be able to take this style and bring it into your home no matter what. Okay, but we're gonna talk about the ideal, right? The dream. The dream. We gotta have the dream before we can start creating this style. Okay, so the dream is a very large home on a large piece of land. The manor is not a castle. It's not that big. It's not a cottage. It might have a cottage on the land, but the manor home is a large home. It's not a mansion either. It's not just a huge house. The purpose of the manor is that it would be sitting on a large piece of land, and it's not a farmhouse either, right? These are different styles. All of them have had their place, and all of them are good. But today we're talking about the modern manor. So this is the new translation in our time, what this means, right? Obviously, we don't need a feudal system. And we may not even want 750 to 1,500 plus acres of land. I don't know about you, but that sounds like a bit much to me. So you don't have to have all of that. We're gonna talk about how we translate that into modern times. But the real part that you have to take away is that it is a larger home sitting on a piece of larger land. That is the ideal of this style, because the things that you're gonna add onto this style are like the dream. This is the dream to me, right? This is the fantasy. If you could have anything in the world, if money was no object, what would you have? And this is what I would have. I don't need a castle. I want a manor. But okay, so what are the key things that really separate this style? Well, first of all, it is modern. It's not just in modern times, but it is also modern. It's current. It's bringing in current times. So unlike a chateau that we think of when we think of like French manor, French chateau, what's the difference? Well, the chateau is probably going to be a lot more ornate than the manor home. The manor home might be ornate as well, but not necessarily. it's a little bit more practical, I think, actually. You're gonna see a lot of woodwork in a manor home, but it's not going to be as much, and it's not gonna be as ornate as that chateau. And I think we even talked about the English manor. We've been talking about this style. It's gonna bring a lot of the English manor, the French manor, the Italian manor. It can be anywhere. There's this idea of this large home on a large piece of agricultural land, and it's in the center of it. It's the center of community, it's the center of life, and it's the center of our home. I am so excited to take just a moment and thank our video sponsor for today's, because you guys, I've got a coupon that's gonna save you up to $150 off of my absolute favorite bakeware. Caraway had already stolen my heart. They sent us their pots and pans, their cookware set a couple months ago, and we have been in love with it. We loved the fact that it was non-toxic. We loved the fact that it's non-stick and beautiful. I was freaking out over it, and I'm telling you right now, that love and passion has not waned. In fact, it's only been inflamed. Their bakeware sets are absolutely unbelievable. It's everything that you love about the cookware set, but they've also given it to us in this bakeware. It is absolutely gorgeous, and it bakes to absolute perfection. We've been using this set nonstop. We absolutely love it. It's amazing. It comes with everything you'll ever need to be able to bake. You've got muffin tins, you've got sheet pans, you've got cake pans, loaf pans, you've got it all. And they always send you these amazing organizers. So look at this beautiful organizer. You can have this sitting out on your counter. You could also use it down in your cabinet to keep everything beautifully stored. I have been making sweet potatoes. I've been cutting them up and roasting them on this pan, and they are so delicious. I think that you guys are going to absolutely love this. I mean, look at this bakeware. It's black with gold accents. I mean, what? So right now, I'm gonna leave the link down below in the show notes. If you click my link, you will save up to $150 off of your bakeware set. I have to tell you, I've gotten the black with the gold, but they have other color options that are going to make you squeal when it arrives at your door. You're going to love it. Let me know in the comments which color you end up going with, because I'm telling you right now, you're gonna think, oh, that's gonna be easy. No, it's not, because there's so many different beautiful options. You're gonna love them all, and that's gonna be the hardest part, is choosing which color you choose. But make sure you check down below. I'll have all the details listed down there for you. The other thing is that I do think it is more minimal. It is not so ornate. It's not that you can't bring those elements in. I think some wood paneling in this style is breathtaking. I think some detail work on cabinetry, we're gonna get into the kitchen in just a second, but cabinetry with a little bit more detail work, a fireplace with a little bit extra detail, right? It's not completely minimal. That fits into this style really, really well. You can have a little bit more ornate, or you can go more minimal. Either end is gonna fit, because it's all going back to a more modern style. I think it still retains that European flair, and I think that's a key. Is it's retaining a little bit of that European flair. So you might have a more minimal kitchen, you might have a more minimal living room or dining room or bedroom, but there's just something that you've brought in, that sort of European essence that you really want to bring into this style. We're gonna keep that. We're gonna hold on to quite a bit of that. Not all of it, because we're updating the style a little bit, but I do think that there's something about that European flair that just lingers with this style. What are the features? What are the features in the dream modern manor? Okay, I think that the dream features are a pool. It'd be, to have a pool. To have a lake. I mean, we don't need a moat, we're not a castle. But a lake would be amazing, right? A modern manor is on this big piece of land. You might have some water, maybe a pool, because you're gonna enjoy that land. You're gonna put a pool on it so that you can enjoy it with your family. I think that's where this style really just, it translates really well into modern times. You might also want to have a barn. Love to have a barn. What about a carriage house? A carriage house, maybe a separate garage with a room up above, maybe even a cottage on the property. Maybe a mother-in-law cottage, or maybe a guest cottage. That way people can come and visit. And in the ideal sense, you would have a nice big piece of land, and there would be space to move around. And I think that that's why this would be amazing. I also think that horse stables would just be, I mean, wow, would that not just be the absolute dream? That to me would be the dream, right? You can do things when you have big pieces of land. And we've been seeing people moving out of the cities a lot. And I've been pushing against it for so long, and I'm like, you know what? It just would be nice to be out on a big piece of land, to have just a driveway that's big enough to have a basketball hoop on it. Like, you don't have to have a basketball court. I mean, if you have the money for it, of course, you can still have this modern manor with all those things. Maybe you want your own tennis court. I don't know. But it's not that you say no to things, it's that you don't have to have them in order to enjoy this style. Does that make sense? Okay, good. So the other things that I literally love about this style so much is that in this style, there would be these extra features. A modern manor would have things like an orangery or a conservatory or a sunroom that is just made to literally actually home plants. And you sit in a room that's just full of plants. In my ideal version of this, I would have a greenhouse. And it wouldn't be an overly cottagey greenhouse. I'd want something that still retains that modern flair. So let's talk about that, because we're talking about architecture a lot and we've been kind of dancing around it. So the modern manor, what's so beautiful about it is it's not just about the interior, it's also about the exterior. It's a real blending of traditional elements that you would associate with maybe the English countryside, the French countryside, Italian, Spanish, those traditional elements that you would find in a rural setting on a manor home, but then they're blended with something that's really modern and minimal. I think that style is breathtaking. So when you move that style from the outside in, you start thinking about, what does the kitchen look like in this house? Well, I think the kitchen could be quite modern. It could have like a slab front cabinet. It could have a lot of marble in it. You could take this modern manor to that bigger, like more, you could take this style to a more modern, almost contemporary style. You don't want to get too contemporary or else it's not a manor anymore, but you could also blend in something more traditional. But either way, I think it's going to be pared back, clean lined, and we're just going to want it. It's got that sort of hominess, it's a home. It's a center hub for your family, and I think that always stays with the style. And I think it's just so good. I want it. I just want it. I think some key features of this style are also the fact that it is more luxurious. So when look, I'm a daydreamer, okay? This is what I do. It's what I get paid to do. I'm a designer. We design the dream. So when you think of the dream and you've got land and the things you could do, you think about, you'd have a cottage. And the cottage maybe doesn't need to be the most luxurious materials. It's gonna maybe be something that's a little bit more homey than the main home. But the main home is going to be more luxurious. Typically in the manor style, the manor home had the most luxurious products that were available. They had the best wood. They had the best quality that was available. So I think that luxury styling is really important to this style. Using materials like limestone, marble, stone would definitely be in this. Real wood, whether it's real wood on the floors, it's wood beams that still look very luxe. All these furnishings as well, right? You're gonna have all these beautiful luxury things inside. It's a very luxe feel. It's very luxe, it's very classic. It plays the balance between classic and modern, the ancient and this new, and there's some sort of mix that comes out of it, and it is just unbelievable. I think formality is another big key differentiator in this style. I think that rather than the farmhouse that's really casual, the farmhouse is, to me, like when I think about how I want to feel when I go to a farmhouse, I think about those ball glasses or a Dixie cup, you're in t-shirt and cutoffs and maybe some flip-flops, and you are just like so casual. Yes, of course you could throw on a dress. I'm not suggesting that any of those things aren't what you want. It's just that a farmhouse has a certain style, right? And we've come up with the modern farmhouse. It's not necessarily a working farm. It's just a style, right? And we have it in all different places, and it's just really casual. It's really informal. I think the modern manor is actually a lot more formal. There's a formality to it. It's just a little bit dressed up. It's, instead of just a t-shirt, it's a blazer, right? It's still comfortable. It's still meant to be a family home. It's meant to be the center of your life, but there's a little bit it's just a little bit elevated. It's a little bit dressed up. So I think that's really fun when you think about the furnishings that go into it. What would you be including? I think sofas like what I have in this room that are a little bit more clean lined, a little bit more elevated and sophisticated feeling. They cost the same as the other ones. It's not about price, it's about style. Which style do you like the best? Do you want something that's soft and fluffy and you just like chill out in it? Or do you want something that has a little bit more tailoring to it? It's a little bit more tufted and pulled together. It's still gonna be clean lined, it's still gonna have that modernness, it's still gonna have the hominess, but there's some sort of balance that's happening between a little bit of formality and a little bit of that sort of approachability. So what is the color palette? Right? Because you know I'm gonna have to talk about the color palette when it comes to this style. I think this style really is all about warm neutrals. You will see rich, deep blacks, warm, rich, dark chocolate brown colors. You're gonna see varying down to really pale, watery beige colors. You're gonna see tans, you're gonna see like creamy whites. It's a very neutral palette. A lot of the exteriors are gonna continue to be white, but now we're not doing it on a farmhouse, we're doing it on a manor home. A manor home that has two-story proportions, something that's larger. The rooms are bigger. It's not all open necessarily. There's separation to the rooms and to the functions. It's just not a modern farmhouse. It's something different. It's very sophisticated, it's very elevated. It's not about budget, it's about style. It's about elevating the exterior of the home. A stucco home goes really well with this style. Also stone, so these materials that we're talking about, right? That really creates that sort of manor feeling, that blend of new and old, the traditional and the modern, and it's all coming together in this beautiful home that sits on a large piece of land, ideally. So how do we translate this style to anywhere? Well, one of the things I love to do, of course, you've seen, I've been popping up lots of pictures from Pinterest for you. You can always visit my Pinterest account and see all of the pictures. I pin a lot. I'm still one of those people that just loves Pinterest, and I pin on Pinterest all the time. So you're gonna see lots and lots of pictures there. I love to look at books. One of my favorite architects that I think gets the closest to this style and I find the most inspiring. And these books are by Bobby McAlpine. And I just really think that he comes as close as I can get you to this style. So I first purchased Poetry of Place. It is all about the life that we're living, and that there is poetry in where we live. And this book is absolutely packed, especially here with the architecture. I think sometimes some of the interiors lean almost a little too traditional to be counted as modern manor. Sometimes the furnishings are just a little too ornate in some of his rooms, but overall the aesthetic of the spaces themselves are very much this sort of modern manor style. And I mean, it's just gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. Really tall windows, right? Because tall windows, you've got tall windows, you have wood floors, so many beautiful things. The next one I bought was The Home Within Us. And I so completely thought, this is someone who understands what I feel. When I read this book and hearing about his passion for, there's a home within us, right? And we're just creating that home around us. And so, yeah, this book is just packed with beautiful rooms that really do show you a modern manor. And again, like I said, you can figure out, look at the stairwell. That is a modern manor. This is not a modern farmhouse. This is not a cottage. It's a large estate home with beautiful proportions and really high quality materials, right? That's the ideal. It's not that you can't create this style on a budget. We're gonna talk about that in just a second, or wherever you are, but there are elements in this home that really elevate it to the next level. So if you like this style, you'll wanna play a balance between modern, minimal, and also some traditional elements. It's going to be a combination of all of those. So when you think about where to shop for this style, I think immediately Restoration Hardware really is a good source to look, at least for some really good inspiration for what a rural home can look like while it's still elevated, sophisticated, and modern. It's a great source. They have a lot of French country stuff, which I think you can also add those pieces in. This is why I think you guys are gonna love this style. I honestly think that you guys are gonna freak because I know so many of you love the French country modern style. This is just a little bit more modern and the proportions are just a little bit bigger. It's just a little bit different from that, okay? So I think it's just a little bit more clean lined and it's a little less ornate, but you can still bring all of that in. Some of the other places that are perfect to shop for this style are places like our house. I shop there all the time. They have beautiful pieces, lots of clean lined, classic, but yet still modern. They are a great source. I also go to Pottery Barn. Sometimes their stuff is just a little bit too, maybe just a little bit Americana kind of style. And those are the pieces that I tend to avoid. I'm really looking for the more sophisticated pieces that they have. But also sometimes places like CB2, they've got some gorgeous rounded sofas that would look amazing sitting in a rural home, sitting on that big plot of land, right? Those rounded pieces in a large living room would be gorgeous. So I do think that you can shop around. This is a style that you can create no matter where you live. Whether you need to add something that's a little bit more traditional, maybe you need to add something more minimal, but the center point of this is being the center of your home and loving these great proportions of pieces, larger pieces and less of them, using higher quality and really trying to create a more luxurious modern look while also bringing in some traditional elements. I think that's why we're just gonna want this style. I think it's gorgeous. I think you guys are gonna absolutely love it. I'm here for it. So I'm gonna leave the links to all these items that I've shared with you, my Pinterest, the books, my Amazon storefront, and any of the pieces that I've shown you, that I've been showing you from a store. I always leave them linked down below in the show notes for you. But apparently my battery's about to die and my coffee is getting cold. So I'm gonna sip my coffee, look through my books, and enjoy a few more minutes. And I hope you enjoyed today's video. Hit subscribe if you haven't already, because we're definitely gonna be unpacking this style a whole lot more. But I'm excited about it and I hope you are too. And cheers, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.